How you guys doing today? So today's video, I wanted to kind of do my own version of the 3v3 teams, what I think are some of the best, or maybe just some of the most creative and, wonky kind of teams, those creative ones, I guess you'd say. I know there's a lot of different people doing videos on these teams, so I thought I might as well, do it while I still can. About 3v3, I know I'm a bit behind on this kind of video. I've been out of town the last few days, and I'm now just getting to making this video now. So this is today's video. Wow. Wow, hang on. Let me just change this name because this has gotten some questions. It's in the comments. I gotta just change it. So that's I don't know why it was that. But here we go. Today's video. I'm gonna show you actually some of my favorites. I have a Galactic Legend Rey, and then I'm actually gonna show you a cool little graphic, I guess you could say, of somebody who created this. I think it was on a post on Reddit by the name of SWGoH. I haven't seen this guy before, but he's made some cool graphics and templates, I guess you could say, in the past, or recently, I guess. So I'm going to share that a little bit down the line that are more, vanilla type of teams, more original, not too creative, I would say. Some are, but some aren't. But this is mine. So this is my little thinking of it. So if you guys went the Kylo route and you have a Supreme Leader Kylo, you can probably change up some of these teams with the First Order. So this is my thinking with having now my Rey unlocked and having a lot of these, kind of mediocre to crappy, I'd say, resistance. So this is what I'm doing. Most of what I've seen so far of anybody going up against Rey, it's been usually a loss. So it doesn't matter too much what I would place here. Honestly, I would rather just maybe not even use these resistance hero, Finn and Poe, and use somewhere else, honestly. But if they have a Kylo, I would probably toss in somebody else like Gas with Chewie, so that now two people have guard. Or I mean, I guess just Gas has guard, I guess. But Rey still remains there in the team. Makes it a lot tougher for that Kylo to kill him because of the guard there and the Chewie protecting him and all that stuff, and the Gas reducing the cooldowns as well in the crit. So you got that team versus the Kylos, but this is just a very vanilla Rey team. Nothing too really hard about it, or too much, mind power going into it. It is a hard team to kill. It has been a really hard team to kill. There's been ways to kill it. You can go in with like a CLS or whoever you want to kind of melt down one of the Finn or Poe, probably Finn, and then go and clean it up with like a Gash or somebody like that, something else like that. But it's doable. I've seen it happen. If you guys are interested in that video, let me know down below. I could do a video just all about that. But the next team here, I've been chatting a lot about three. The next team here is Resistance team with Finn, veteran Chewie, and the original Poe. I don't have the Zeta on balanced tactics I used to, but since they got reworked, I haven't put it on me because I found it kind of useless, especially in 3v3 format. This whole 3v3 and how this game is played is not meant for 3v3, and this leadership for the Zeta is actually really bad. Not too bad, but it doesn't get the full use out of it in 3v3s as it would in 5v5s. So that's actually like one thing of 3v3s I don't really like. You're really limited now, and in that case, it can be a negative, but also positive. You're now having to kind of be a lot more creative with your teams, and there's a lot of different people out there who either hate it because it's not, as 5v5 would be, and people kind of like it or love it, I guess you could say, because of how creative you can get with these teams. So this is another creative team. The idea behind this team is to have a lot more offense, defense, and potency for all Resistance allies. Veteran Smuggler Chewie is the guy who's going to be standing out here. He gets a lot more stacking offense, and also critical damage whenever a Resistance ally in the leadership takes damage, or if but Han's not in this team, so it's really just Finn. If Finn takes any damage, he's going to be stacking a lot more critical damage. And the nice thing about Finn here in the leadership is that he has a taunt. So he's going to be taunting in leadership, which is going to stack up that Chewie's damage a lot. And he can potentially do some big one-shots to anybody there. And then you have Poe here that can also have an additional taunt and expose and TMR as well, which is not that bad. And he's quite tanky to, also bring to the table. This is a nice little fun team. I'm going to put it on defense, see how it goes. This isn't just a normal Gas team, nothing crazy about this. You could also, if you wanted to, go down the route of just using Gas solo, then using Rex, Fives, whoever else you wanted tossed in there, ARC Trooper perhaps. And then you can use Shock T here as well if you wanted to. So you can break it up into two teams like this, or you can break it into three teams with a Gas solo and then two clones with Shock T and then Rex lead. So that's how you do the clones. In my opinion, is the best way to do it. It's really the only way to do it, honestly. And then you come down here to the Newt team. So I've been seeing a lot of different Newt variations. If you guys do have a Gear 13 Malak, I think this is probably the best Newt team if you want to toss in Malak, because you're going to have a Dooku here to stealth up both Newt and himself. And then he's going to be forcing everybody to hit the Malak. So if you can perhaps get your Dooku fast enough, let's go back in. Mine is only like 286, nothing crazy fast, and he's only Gear 11. But imagine if this guy was like 300 plus speed. And he gets out the Master Mikashi early on, and he stealths up everybody except for Malak. You're going to be now forced to hit Malak. If you're going to be critting him, you're going to get now fear on yourself, and that's just not fun. On top of that, you have Newt Lee who can inflict and apply extortion to enemies, and that also just ramps up this whole process of making more stealths happening, some more debuffs happening, and some more critical damage happening as well, all with the Dooku and how extortion kind of works as well, and the Newt Elite as well. It's a great team, I think. In my opinion, probably the best Newt team for 3v3s if you want to, at the expense of using Malak here. If you don't want to use Malak, you can toss really anybody in, honestly. It's probably going to do a decent job, but this is probably the best team to try to stomp out some of those stronger teams. So that's that. So this is a weird one. Bosk with Jango Fett and also Nest. The reason why I have this team here is because if you come down here, I have a different variation of and use of how I want to use my Jango Fett. This will be a defensive team here with a GBA, Jango, and also not Spy, Soldier. This is a great defensive team, actually. We'll come back up to the Bosk team in a little bit, but this team for now is great to stop those Trey and Scions, because with this, you're going to have Soldier who applies tenacity down on a basic, and what that means is now you're going to be able to land with your Jango Fett even more of these, burnings, even more of these staggers and healing immunity, which is a big one. But stagger is pretty dang huge to lower the TM of the Scion and perhaps and potentially kill him and make that whole counter not even work whatsoever. That works a lot better though once you have a full 5 team with 2 more Geonosians, but in 3v3 you're a bit limited. But I think that might still get the job done. So you can use that, and then coming back up here to the Bosk team. Honestly, you could just toss in whoever you want for the third. It could be a Dengar, it could be a Zan Wessel, it could be really anybody who you wanted to. But I'm just keeping Ness in here for a defensive team. Just you never know. It could be a really good team, it could not. Or if you wanted to, you can place a full 3-man of bounty hunters and then use a Ness solo, which would probably be the best bet for most of you guys out there. So that's that team. And then next up here is Talzin. Talzin is interesting leadership here because she can inflict plagues and get a lot more revives happening if anybody does happen to die. You can see here, though, I don't have a Nightsister Zombie here. I don't really think you need Nightsister Zombie here. Honestly, it would help, but for the most part, I think you can find a lot more different uses with, Zombie plus another Nightsister in a different team somewhere else. So this isn't the best in my opinion, but it's a good use of saving your Zombie for something else if you were to do that. But this is an okay team, I guess, because you still maintain Daka's revives and the Talzin leadership with some extra stuns, which is not too bad, honestly. But I'm sure this can be taken out by something, relatively not too hard in the investment, not too high on the offensive scale with the teams and what you're going to be using. It's not going to be like a gas or a CLS or something like that to that extent. So that's that. Nothing crazy. But this team here is an okay team, I think. A Grievous with B1 and Magna Guard. I don't think you want B2 here because B2 is going to not give you a whole lot, because you're probably going to be, if you are fighting a team like this and you don't want to use Magna Guard and you instead put in B2, well, now you're going to not get that stealth, and you're now going to have your B2 rather exposed, and people will easily just pick him off, go for Grievous or go for B1, and then that's game over. So I think you need a taunter here, whether it be, a Sunfac or anybody that has a taunt. But in this team, it's got to be, I think, Magna Guard, honestly. He has the best taunt for the droids, especially for Grievous lead. So this is probably the most optimized team here for Grievous. And then coming down here, CLS is standard CLS with CLS Han Chewie. If you wanted to, you can just use Han Chewie versus another 3-man, a 2v3 that, or whatever you want to. Save CLS for a different team, whether it be an offense or defense. It's a great use of that team there as well. It's one of the most powerful 3v3 teams in the game, honestly, in my opinion. And then you got this team. This is Darth Revan. The thing about, if you guys were taking anything from the Darth Revan and Sith Empire, in my opinion, in how I use them in 3v3s, is if you just have a fast Darth Revan in a 3v3, let's say you got him like 320, 330, you're totally fine. You don't need to worry about having a BSF in there. You don't need to worry about having a Malak in there. Instead, now you can save those two characters for a totally different team, getting even better defenses going for you, or even stronger offenses with BSF. We just saw that earlier with Malak is now with a new team, and now with this, you still maintain the leadership, all of the extra critical damage, and you also have a fast Darth Revan, like I was saying earlier, so that he can apply the AoE fear. This is a 326 speed Darth Revan. I use him for the Rey counters in my GACs. I guess in TWs now, GACs is not going to work too well, honestly, with 3v3s. But he is still here. He's going to get the insanity off early on in the battle. And if you don't outspeed him, you are going to be hurting hardcore. So this is going to take another strong team to kill it. It doesn't have to be these two here. It could be anybody if you wanted to. Ideally, you would want to save Bastich Fallen and Darth Malak for a different team, either offense or defense. So it's a good team still. It pulls a very, very strong team in my opinion. So that's that. Then, like we just said, saving BSF for a different team. This is the team I was creating. It's an EP with BSF and Darth Nihilus, because you can see right below that we just have Trey and Scion, which can 2v5 or 2v3, even 2v5 in a normal GAC setting. A lot of different teams out there. So this is the team I went for here, because you can now have so much extra TM gain with BSF with all the debuffs and fear. But also, if you were to go, I guess, fight against somebody who is very, very tanky, has a lot of health, and you just can't kill him with these two characters, we'll toss Nihilus, annihilate, bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. So that's one team. If you didn't want to use him, maybe the team you're fighting isn't as tanky and it's a little bit squishy, they're just a little bit more scary, and you want to fight them, feel free to use somebody else like a Death Trooper, a TIE Fighter pilot, Darth Vader even. You could probably handle it with some of those guys, but in my opinion, I think you can really do it with Darth Nihilus, and it's just totally fine, because down here we just have Trey and Scion, can 2v3, 2v5, a lot of different teams like I just said. Geos is a big one. 3v3s, maybe some people are going to get a little bit more creative and kind of stop that, like we just mentioned down below, with using Jango Fett here to stop that with the staggers and some of the bigger damage he can do and apply to the enemies. But I still think this can 2v3 a lot of different teams out there. For example, I think it probably can 2v3 the Karth team, which is a very common team. Perhaps, I guess, some bounty hunters as well, stuff like that. So that's that team. Nothing too crazy, honestly. And then you come down here to the more standard teams, a lot more stronger teams. These two here, the Padmé with Anakin and GK, and then you got the JKR with Jolie and Yoda. Two very, very strong teams in GAC. However, you can do some things here with the Padmé team that can swap it up and save some more teams for offense if you wanted to. Honestly, Anakin here, Mr. Jedi Anakin here, can solo actually quite a few teams because of his power, or overpowering assault AoE that he can do to the enemies. It's a very, very strong AoE. You can just blast away some people that are squishy if you wanted to. And in that, if you were to do that in turn, you can now save him for that solo, but also you can now keep somebody else that's a Galactic Legend or Galactic Republic for this Padmé team to maintain all those extra courages and the GK if you were to do that. So honestly, if you were to do this, you can just toss in Qui-Gon, you can toss in Mace Windu, you can toss in Plo Koon, anybody you really wanted to here. And you get that solo with Anakin, which is very nice as well. So you got that team. And also, just to take a last bit of thing there I want to say there is, some of these, you want to kind of plan for, before GACs, but that team right there, the Padmé team, is something you can kind of go on and kind of do it by, just like playing it by as you kind of go on with GAC as you're playing it. Once the round starts, you can see the defenses. You can see, oh, hey, I can just solo the team with Anakin, and then you can, save, Mace Windu or Qui-Gon for that Padmé team, and you're good to go. So that's just like a nice little team there. You can kind of, it's a little bit more versatile, I guess you could say. And then you come down here, the JKR team. JKR with Jolie and Yoda, it's a very, very standard team. I'm thinking it can beat a lot of different teams out there. One team I'm kind of a bit nervous about is a really just maxed out Relic Nightsisters. And if that was the case, I think this could handle it very, very well. Outside of that, Relic Nightsister team, I think it can mirror pretty well. It could probably beat some lower tier Darth Revans, Padmés as well. I think it could beat stuff like that. Still can beat some really strong teams, and it can undersize a lot of weaker teams as well. So it's a great team all in all. I think it's a great one to have. So this one here is one that I would love to see and see more people use. It's a defensive team. The third here is very, very interchangeable. The main two, though, you have to have is Old Ben and Nightsister Spirit. So the thing here, a lot of these teams I like a lot is because of the evasion on it. I have 2 teams here though that are evasion leaderships. One is this old Ben and the other is Talia. So the thing though about this one is that whenever you evade, you have 15% evasion, but whenever you do evade, you get 30% turn meter. The thing with Nightsister Spirit is that on her unique, at the start of every one of her turns, she gains foresight for 1 turn. So she's going to be getting so much extra turn meter. On top of that, she can remove TM on her basic, so that you're going to get into a little bit of a loop with getting so many more turns than the enemies. And also, she stuns on her special. But the reason why I have Zombie in here is because, yeah, we could use her in the Nightsister team above, which I probably would for the most part. But I'm doing this because I want to save 2 other people. Let's just back it up a little bit. The 2 other people I would recommend for this team is either Wat Tambor or Droideka. Droideka, let's just talk about him first, is that he has a built-in evasion if he does not have damage immunity. So he's going to get even more evasion, more turn meter, more chance to get the damage immunity up, and those big special hits. So that's a great way to utilize him if you wanted to do that. But the other one is also Wat Tambor. Wat Tambor gives out the tank tech to Old Ben, the either weapon or the Chewy Wob, the other piece of health tech to the Nightsister Spirit. Which is really great. I've actually had a really great history with this team. It's gotten me really good holds. I remember last GAC with 3v3, I remember every other GAC round I would get a hold or 2 with this team. It's a very strong and underrated team for GACs. So you can really utilize the third, like, either Zombie, Wat Tambor, or even Droideka. I think it's a great team here. I'd love to see more people use it. So next down here on the line is a weird team, guys. I just wanted to use some crew here, honestly. Pretty much what this does is, since I went all in on Rey, I can use my stick Rey somewhere. I don't really need R2 anywhere because I'm placing other teams on defense. So I have a crew here that's a tank, and my R2 is going to stealth him up first. And the crew can 2-turn stun somebody. But then, if you are under stealth, well, they can't hit my stick Rey. So now my stick Rey is going to do some big hits on somebody, while the crew maintains his leadership. So if they do happen to do any debuffs or buffs he gains buffs rather, he's going to get more of that protection HP back. So he's going to be a very durable tank. But on top of that, you're going to have some more foresight with a smoke screen on R2. And you have the stick Rey that's going to do some big damage. So I'm going to be curious to see how this one holds up. I don't think it'll do much of anything, but it does. I'll let you guys know. It's a creative team. I think it'd be a fun one to see. But this next team here, I saw this on Clash's server. I'm not too sure exactly who recommended this or was telling me about it. I totally forget, but I remember it was on Clash's server. Again, you guys got to check that server out. It's a really cool server. But this one in particular, this team is with JTR, BB-8, and Veteran Han. Ideally, you'd want Veteran Han in Gear 13, but if you don't, I think it might be okay still. The idea behind this team is whenever BB-8 attacks out of turn, he's going to be calling an additional resistance ally with his Roll of the Punches unique. So Veteran Han could potentially be that person to call to assist because now he just recently got the resistance tag. So what that means is on a basic, he can apply stagger. And if you hit twice, you have a 50% chance to attack again. If you hit twice, you can just remove the person's TM all the way back to 0. And that is a huge thing in 3v3s. So if you were to mod this guy anyway, you got to remod him to have a lot of potency. I think you might get a little bit from the leadership. I got to double check here. No, I don't think you do. So yeah, you got to mod him for a lot of potency. The critical chance and critical damage is very nice here. And of course, you have JTR that can do some TMR, some more assists and such like that. So this is another very strong team. And if you have a Relic 7 BB-8 like I do, I would really recommend you guys going for a critical avoidance arrow. And also just modding for speed and HP. So he's at 291 speed. And a nice thing about him at Relic 7 is that he's going to have close to 50% critical avoidance. So he can be a very annoying tank here. I think he might be very good in this team, and that team is very interesting. I want to see how that one does as well. Coming down the line here is some more common teams. I'm not going to chat about these too much. Is just a Hux team, Karth team. Basil team is kind of the same one. You could toss in Hoda there. I'm going to save Hoda sometimes if I need to save him, or if I wanted to, I can just use Ahsoka, another Padmé team, and solo somebody with Anakin, and then just use Hoda here. So that's like an interchangeable team as well, as you just go and play in your GACs round by round. So it's not that hard. And then of course we just talked about the Grievous, the Geonosian team, and then we got some weird funky teams here. Last 3 here is with all target lock team. So much target locks here. I think it'll be kind of funny to see how this one does. probably not gonna do so hot. And then we have another Geo team with some B2. Honestly though, I think I'm gonna come up with some better teams here with B2 because he's got a really great unique with a Dispels in the TM with a Separatist, I think, droids. So that could be a nice little team that I could probably think of. But this team here, I think, is a nice little one here. It's a kind of creative one, is with Talia Leadership. Nightsisters gain 16% evasion, and then other allies gain half of that amount. And whenever an ally evades, they have a 50% chance to recover 5% of their health. Really crappy leadership. It has to be, or I have to say, it's really bad leadership. But with Barris here, whenever you do get crit, you get some extra HP as well, and she has a heal. Both these guys have heals, I'm pretty sure. Talia's is Water of Life. Yep, there you go. So you have a lot of heals here, but the main guy is Droidica. He's going to get even more evasion from leadership. I think 8% on top of his 25, I think, from his unique here. There you guys go, 25% on his unique, and with some more speed. But I like his damage here, and the damage meter is going to be very, very nice. But I think it might be easily to kill. We'll have to see there. But, you know, that's going to be that for my little fun videos. I'm going to now cover up and share with you guys my other one I want to share from the one guy I saw on the Discord, or I mean on the Reddit page, which is Colin. It's pulled up here now. So this is Colin. You can see down here at the bottom, Colin. I'd never seen them before, but these are some very, very nice quality templates. So Colin, this is a great way to share with people some of your ideas. And honestly, man, this is a huge deal. I think this is going to be very nice to a lot of people. I might have to create one myself because it's just so nice looking. So you can see here, he has some offensive solo teams. We kind of talked about it with Malak, Nest, Gas. Malak, I think, is a lot better on defense in my opinion, but maybe some people are disagreeing there with me. And then you have a lot of these other plug and play ones as well. A lot of them. That's why you can see there in my other ones, if you were looking at it closely, I have a lot of these just solo plug and play guys just sitting in the back, just waiting for how I would like to use them, honestly. So got a lot of those. And then, like we just mentioned, a lot of these different teams, a lot of these similar teams as well. Some troopers here, some Ewoks, some Kylo Rens. You know, these are some great ways, actually, if you're going to go for the Kylo. These are some great teams here. I gotta say that's a really great way of using them. And then you got some JTRs here, some Rebels, some more Karths, some more Nightsisters as well. Yeah, I think in this one in particular, this Nightsister team with Talzin, that might be really good with Acolyte, I think is what her name is, with a stealth. And if you don't have an AoE there, you're going to be kind of screwed. You're going to be stuck behind that. So that's going to be probably that, guys, for the video. I just like this one a lot. I think 3v3 can be really creative at times and kind of fun. I know most people don't like it because you're kind of limited to what you can and cannot use. And it's not really built for that, but I'm going to just kind of hop off here. I'm going to get a phone call. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys all later. Peace out.